everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Car Stories with
Sung Kang
and Emelia Hartford.
Hi, Emelia.
Hi, Sung.
What's going on?
Oh, you know.
No, that's why I asked you.
What is going on? I love that we match every time, and we never plan on it. No. In fact, I pulled out these red parachute pants, and I was like, "There's no way we are matching today." And then you showed up in red parachute pants.
Yeah, I've ordered these for 3 days in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know.
I fear I might do the same actually with these.
Why do you fear that?
What do you mean?
What?
I think I might do the same.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because they're comfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look comfortable.
They are.
Those are called parachute pants?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, parachute pants were big when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like when I was like 10, 11, those were $100.
Really?
Parachute pants. Because they had like zippers and the break dancers and the b-boys would, that's what they wore. So it's like super expensive. That, and there was this Michael Jackson zipper jacket. Mm-hmm. And if you could buy the Michael Jackson jacket, parachute pants, and I think Jordan 1s.
You were styling?
Oh, and you had to have money. That was like...
That was it.
You were a baller.
That was it.
Those aren't really parachute pants, though.
No?
No.
What would you call these?
Pants. Parachute pants. Why are they called parachute pants? You've appropriated a name for a pair of pants that...
Because they're like baggy and flowy.
You call them parachute pants?
No, this is what they're called.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because of the material.
Yeah, and the bagginess, I think.
Oh. Yeah, I guess so. Because they're baggy like a parachute?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. What are they? Who makes those? Uniqlo?
Amazon.
Hey, you shop on Amazon?
Sometimes.
You buy your clothes on Amazon?
Sometimes.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Is it good quality?
I get scared about on Amazon for that reason, but there is some stuff that's actually decent quality that lasts a while.
Yeah.
It's like $10.
I bought some shirts recently from Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, they work.
They're fine.
Yeah.
It's easy, convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get my socks on Amazon.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So you don't go to the store often? You're not a shopper?
So I get some socks from Amazon and some socks from Aritzia. I really like the Aritzia socks.
Those are that's an online store?
No, Aritzia is an in-person store.
Oh, so are you a shopper?
No.
You don't like shopping?
No, I'm really bad at it. Do you like shopping?
Depends on what it's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, like shoes. I love to go shoe shopping.
Yeah. But I buy my shoes online.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
You don't try them on?
Oh, no. I mean, I know what size I am in Jordan 1s.
But you don't like the whole ceremony of asking the dude or the young lady, 10.5, please, and then
they bring in 11. You're like, no, this is the wrong size.
Yeah.
And then you try them on. You walk around. Not really.
No,
because I know my size, and I'm more just looking at different colorways online and seeing what I want to do. At least for Nikes, and then for Vans, I know my size. I just get the same ones over and over again.
So you don't go to the mall like every weekend?
No.
No?
No.
That was a thing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before like phones and social media, even as a kid, we would go to the mall just to hang out after school.
Well, how often do you go to the mall per month?
Now?
Yeah.
You mean per year?
Per year?
Yeah. I try to go... I'm trying to make an effort to go more frequently to actually buy myself nice clothes because I wear the same thing just over and over again. Mm-hmm. But I think I'll try once every 3 months, try to make it to the mall.
That's not very often.
How often do you go?
Never. I never go. I never go now.
That's not very often. Yeah, I don't go at all.
Yeah, well, when I was your age, I would go probably every weekend.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. It was like, this is where, my wife and I would go on a date.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes we didn't even buy anything, but, buy some pretzels, the pretzel bread.
The Wetzel pretzels. Yeah.
There was like a, routine. You go there, you get the pretzels, and then the corn dog from the hot dog on the stick.
Yeah, and the lemonade.
Yeah. And then just walk around and really, I mean, very, 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 very rarely would I actually buy anything. But, if you walk around for an hour, it's like exercise and,
I do want to do it more. I think it's also a luxury of time thing that I fill my time with everything. Like right now I'm in flight school. So that's...
You are?
I am. Yeah, so that's taking up a lot of my time.
Where are you taking class in Van Nuys?
Yeah. Yeah, Clipper Aviation.
Clipper?
Yeah. Do you know Clipper?
Yeah,
You have?
I took my nephew because his dream is to be a pilot. So I took him over to Clipper.
Oh, cool.
To start like taking lessons.
Oh, really?
And I was like, damn, this kid is so lucky.
Yeah.
Like if I told my parents like I want to be a pilot, they're like, good for you.
Yeah.
Good dream. But yeah, I mean, it's cool that we live, close to the Van Nuys airport. And I heard that airport is like the busiest like private airport in America.
Really? In the US? I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of private jets there whenever I'm going up in my little Piper.
Yeah. So they said that's really good too. That's why the pilots that learn out of Van Nuys are actually the better pilots because it's so busy. So like, let's say you learned in a private airport
or even
in
like
Kentucky.
the Midwest and there's never any air traffic. So you're not used to having to navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you getting that?
Because I want to.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Fly places.
Emelia? Uh-huh. Yeah?
Emelia Earhart?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Following in her footsteps?
Now when people finally
Don't disappear, though.
if I say Emelia, and every time people will go, oh, like the pilot, I can finally say yes.
Yeah.
Like the pilot.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's good. That's a cool thing to have.
Yeah. I think the last time I really saw you and hung out was in Japan.
Yeah.
Right?
How was that?
I had a great time.
Yeah?
Yeah. What about you?
I had a good time.
Yeah.
My favorite part of it was finding those carburetors.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Those green tea matcha candies that you got me,
The cookies?
are so good. Did you know this place before? Or were you just walking in a store?
No, that's a thing from Kyoto. That's the thing you buy people as a gift.
Those cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. They were really good.
Yeah.
We just missed the cherry blossom season. I don't know when you went to go get the carburetors, if you saw them down there or not.
It was cherry blossom season, but they weren't blooming because of the cold.
Right. But I guess they ended up blooming a week after we were there.
Yeah.
There were some in Shibuya. Yeah.
I saw one tree.
Yeah.
It's like a sad ass
I saw a couple in Shibuya, so.
Yeah, it was cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. Formula E, each time I, get to go to an event, it just impresses me more and more.
Yeah. I just think it was really cool, the take on the Japanese car culture that they did to promote being the first race on the streets of Tokyo ever at a championship level.
That thing we did?
Yeah. It was cool to have like Pandem, Liberty Walk, Veilside, and all these OGs bringing out their kid. Like, it was so hardcore enthusiast that like the general masses may not have known how, like, the attention to detail of every little bit of that scene. But I remember I was just standing there, I was looking around, I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Unfortunately, the Pandem truck that Mira-san brought was not even in the shot.
Oh, really?
He hung out all day.
Aww.
He brought a Toyota Hilux that he had actually built the year before for the Tokyo Auto Salon. And I worked on that truck with him because I went to visit him. I messed it up, but he brought it. He stood there all day.
That was one of my favorite vehicles there.
The truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing was
cool.
Yeah.
But it's not in the
That's
the
sad.
spot.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really. I was just there admiring it as a fan. The attention, like the fab work on that thing is beautiful.
Yeah. That's cool. You're right. I mean, like the legends of car design or body kit design of Japan, they were like all in one like parking lot.
Yeah.
Right? It was cool. Yeah, it's awesome to be a part of something like that. And I'm really frazzled today.
Why?
I have to share something with you.
Please.
So there's this Japanese word, kudowari, right?
Okay.
I think I'm pronouncing it maybe wrong, but it's kodowari or kudowari, and it means like to strive for perfection in your life.
Okay.
When you know that there's no such thing, you'll never get there. But to strive, like you're just trying to like elevate every day.
Is that a positive thing?
It's a positive thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a positive thing it's a philosophy, right? To go, hey, whatever you do, if you're doing laundry, you do it, like try to aim for perfection, even though it's not going to happen, but you try, right? If you build a car, you
like
aim
doing
for,
your best at something.
Yeah, best.
Okay.
But then understanding that it's never going to be, there's no such thing as perfection, right? You eventually just kind of have to, leave it be, right? And move on, right? And, I as of late, I wake up and I think about this and I go, there's two actually like Japanese things that I think about, the kodawari or the kudawari. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. But, the idea of striving for perfection, to be a better person, to whatever I'm doing in my life, to strive for that. And then also this number 78, right? Like you fall down 7 and you get up 8. And it's a Japanese saying, nana korobi aoki. It's like fall down 7, get up 8, right? And so as soon as I wake up, these days, like I think about these two kind of sayings, right? Or these like, principles, if you will, right? And I've been trying to spend more time with my wife, right? Yeah. And she likes to play golf. I hate golf, Emelia. Like I hate it I hate, like with a capital H, like if I can say I hate something, I hate golf. Like it's like on the top of the list. Like stepping on poo, I hate, but golf I hate more. Okay.
Well, it's nice that you're doing it.
Yeah, or for her, right? Because I'm like, I need to find.
Do you enjoy driving the cart?
Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
It's funny you bring that up. Okay. Right? So, I've tried to play golf with her 4 times. First time I went with her, we played about 2 holes, and there were people behind us catching up. Because we suck. Like, we're like horrible. Like, I don't even know the rules of golf, but let's try. Let's get in the golf cart and go. People catching up to us, and both of us like, hey, they're kind of waiting for us because we keep losing all the balls. We're like, we don't know what we're doing. And it's like, let's go home. Like, yeah. So we drove around the golf course and in the golf cart, and it was like nice and romantic, and we went home. Second time, I was like, hey, we can't be late. Like, I don't think you can be late for your tee time in golf. It doesn't really work like that. But we were 15 minutes late.
Okay.
So we missed our tee time. So it's like, okay, that didn't happen. Third time, we're paired up with these 2 dudes that, are obviously like, golfers, like avid golfers. And they see me, and my wife dresses me up like I'm a professional golfer. And they're like, hey, buddy, nice to meet you. There's, because they're very formal people, right? And very cordial. And guys were like, hey, so are you teeing off from like the gold or the green or the brown? I was like, brother, I don't even know what you're talking about. And they were like, stop messing around. And I'm like, and they're like, why don't you go ahead? I go, no, why don't you go ahead? Because I can barely hit the ball. And they're like, oh, yeah, look at you. You're like, you looks like you've been playing golf since you were a baby. And I'm like, and I'm also Korean. Koreans are all playing golf, right? And I'm like, no, I can't. I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like, trust me, right? And I go, so why are you with us? And like, oh, we're paired up because, it's a busy day at the course. So we're paired up with you. And I'm like, this ain't going to really work. And then my wife was like, I don't want to play with these strangers because they're really good and we suck. So we went home, right? But as we're leaving, and they're like, where are you going? I go, hey, sorry, buddy. I don't
Did
know.
you hit it once?
No. I didn't even hit the ball.
As far as you would have hit a hole in one. Yeah. It would have been the coolest.
No, I can't hit the ball, Emelia. Especially when someone's watching. It's like they strike out, right? Like I'm like, sweating now. I'm like, all right, let's just leave, right? And they're like, hey, is it us? And I go, no, it's us. Thank you so much. See you later, right? And then as we're leaving, I hear this noise, this cracking of wood. And all of a sudden, this oak tree falls like right behind the car, almost crushes us.
Wow.
Like it's like a massive tree. Like, why did this tree wait for me to like drive under him and then fall? And I was like, looking over at my wife, I was like, wow, this is
a sign.
A sign?
You think
and
it's
she's
a
like,
sign?
Whatever. And then we go home. 4th time, right? And I think this is my last time I will ever play golf. And so we go, and I was busy that day, and our tee time was at 3:00, right? And I was kind of running late, and my wife was like kind of like upset, and I was like, don't worry, I'll call them and we'll get a different tee time. And I called the guys, and I was like, hey guys, I'm kind of in the doghouse. You gotta, give me a tee time because my wife really wants to play golf with me today. And we barely, we've never played. We like went to 2 holes so far, right? So I got to make this work. And they're like, don't worry, son, we got you, right? Like, thank you. And I go, but don't pair us up with anybody. Like, it has to be like just us. And they're like, okay, we got you. So we get there early, okay? 15 minutes early, we're there. I'm like, all right, this is great. There's nobody around. Like, why don't you start warming up, right? And this guy pulls up behind me. And I was like, hey, how are you? And he's like, hey, what's your tee time? I go, 3. I go, what's your tee time? They're like, 2:50. I was like, so you're before us? It's like, yes. I go, okay, so then I guess you have to go ahead, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, but how do I get in front of you? Because your cart is blocking, right? Because the path is so narrow. And I was like, oh, I guess I have to reverse it. We both have to reverse it. And then, you can get in front of me. And he's kind of giving me attitude, right? And I'm like, God, man, this is why I hate golf. Like, they take it so seriously. So we reverse, and he's in front of me now, right? And I'm behind him. And now I'm at like the fork of the road, right? The kind of an intersection. And I'm waiting for him to tee off. And he's just doing yoga now. Right? I'm like, just hit the ball, dude. And he's doing yoga. He's stretching and he's doing all of this, right? And then I'm like, and my wife is like, he's really taking a long time. I'm like, I know. I was like, but what are we going to do? His tee time's at 2:50. We're 15 minutes early. I go, why don't you warm up as well? Why don't you go stretch? And she's like, okay. And I'm sitting there in the passenger side just like this of the cart. I'm just like, gosh, man, I really don't want to be here. And all of a sudden, these kids, like they're like, I think high school, they look like high school kids or college kids. They're young men, 3 young men. And then they pull up in the cart, 2 carts, and they're like, oh my God, it's on. It's like, I grew up with you. It's like, oh my God. Like, I go, and then they're like, oh, we can't squeeze by. Like, oh, don't worry, we'll like drift around him. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then they get stuck. They get stuck right with my cart. And I'm like, all right, let me just move the cart out of the way. So I turn the wheel and I press the gas like this. And the cart bolts forward, like just jerks forward.
Okay.
Guess who's in front of the cart?
Not your wife.
My wife. I run her over. She's completely under the cart. Like, it hits her. And it was like a bush like this that grabbed her, and it was like, if without this bush, she would have hit like the concrete. It grabs her like this, but she's under the cart. She's like this. This is the cart. It's like this, and she's like out like this, right? And I'm all, holy moly, right? The cart is on top of her, like it's like this, right? It's like this, right? And so the kids, and I had to lift the cart off of her, and she starts to come to, and all of a sudden, she's screaming and crying because her ankle is broken.
She broke her ankle?
I broke the ankle, right? It's mangled under the...
Is she in a cast right now? Like, actually broken?
Broken. And she's just screaming and crying, and all this wonderful couple, this older couple came over, and the lady like hugged her and said, it's okay. And then they called the ambulance, but the ambulance couldn't come down. So I had to lift her up, put her in the golf cart. And
dude, you make me never want to golf just hearing this story.
Yeah, you don't need to play golf. Like, it's golf. This is why I hate golf, right? Get to the ambulance. The ambulance is trying to take to the hospital. She doesn't want to go to the hospital. She wants to go home to see the dogs, right? Because she's crying. I'm like, we need to go to the hospital. She's like, I don't want to go. So I take her home. She sees the dog. She goes, I want to go to the hospital. So we go to the emergency room. It's a whole thing, okay? The whole thing, right? Wait, why did I bring this golf story up? Oh, because the Japan thing. Okay, and then 2 days later, okay, yeah. So then 2 days later, I have to go to Japan with you, right?
I had no idea all this happened right before.
Yeah, I was not in a good mood in Japan. I was like highly stressed and feeling super guilty.
Well, you hit it very well. You're very professional.
Because I felt guilty because it was a lot of fun, right? It was like super fun. But then she's in a cast.
Yeah.
And she with a broken ankle and having to take care of the dogs. And also she's just in pain. And it was so stupid, so dumb. Like, why Did I almost kill my wife in a golf cart? And think about it. Like these kids, I know what they're saying. They're going, hey, Han almost killed his wife. He can't drive. He can't even drive a
I don't think they're saying that.
Whatever, right? I would say it. If I were them, I would say that, right? So...
they're probably just as traumatized about the thing.
Maybe, but maybe not. But they're high school kids. Who know, right? But regardless, so I come back. So it's connected to this story. So that day, I remember I was walking the dog the day that her ankle broke because I had to walk the dogs, right? Because they have to go poo and stuff. And usually she and I walk the dogs together. It's kind of our time together. It's like, we talk and we take our time. And I'm walking the dogs and I'm highly stressed, like super stressed. And I was like feeling so guilty because I would like replay it in my head and see her head hit the bush and like she's like out and then she's waking up crying and stuff. And I was sweating and I had a hoodie just like that. And I took off the hoodie. And I had the leash of the dogs because I have one leash that connects both dogs, right? And, Teji is huge, And I put the leash on a mailbox in like one of my neighbors that I've never met, right? And it was like hooked like this. And Teji pulled it and it was like an old mailbox and it shattered the whole mailbox. It was like a mailbox like a house. Like one of those house mailboxes with
Deji didn't run away though, right? I'm prepared for like a bad story of Deji.
No. He just like pulled it. The whole thing goes right? The whole thing is just crumbles because it's old. Like it's in like pieces. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do here?
Something following you around.
And then I'm like looking around and I was like, I got to get home. So I just left.
Ditched the mailbox?
Yeah, I left. I was like, well, what am I going to do with this now?
So when your neighbors hear this, are they going to finally learn what happened to their new mailbox?
Well, I'm getting to that. Okay. So like I go home and then we go to Japan and I come back, right? And this morning I was walking the dog, both dogs. And I was passing the house, but I was on the other side of the road, right? And this elderly gentleman comes out with a smile on his face and he goes, excuse me, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, do you remember that mailbox there? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you broke it. And I was like, yes. And he goes, it would have been nice if you could have just like told me. And I was like, you're right. And he's like, I just wanted to let you know. And I was like, let me know what? He's like, we ordered another mailbox. And I was like, can I pay for that? And he's like, no. Just know that it would have been nice if you had like just knocked on the door and told us that the mailbox was broken. And he's like, it's not very neighborly what you did. And I was like, yeah, it's not. And then I started walking away and then my gut just started feeling like, I started feeling sick, right? Because, and I'm going back to the Kudawari way of living life. And I was like, why would I not come back? It didn't even occur to me.
Really?
Right? And I was like, yeah, you were stressed. It was like a tough day, but within the chaos is when you're truly tested. And I failed, right? And what is that mailbox going to cost? He doesn't even care because he was like, look, we were going to get a new mailbox anyway, but it just, as a neighbor.
Yeah, it's not about the money.
Yeah, it's not. He goes, I don't need your money. He goes, it's just, because he's like, I take pride. I've been here for 26 years and I'm friends with everybody. It's just like, this is what neighbors do for each other. You take care of each other. And then, so I walked back and I was like, sir, and he was like organizing his garage. And I was like, sir, can I talk to you? It's like, I feel really bad right now. And I don't know what to do to make it up to you because I'm wrong. I was wrong and I am wrong. And you're 100% right. And he started telling me the context of like what that mailbox caused. He goes, well, we needed to leave town for our family. And I was in San Francisco for some work. And the next door neighbors were robbed. And so when the mailbox collapsed, I thought it was a burglar because he goes, I have cameras everywhere. And so I actually drove down from San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
And because I needed to get my passport, and I was worried that the passport was going to not be delivered because there's no mailbox, right? Like, fortunately, the passport was still in the mailbox. It was already delivered, but somebody could have picked up the mailbox and taken it. He's like, so there's a lot of like things that kind of, were triggered by your mailbox like fiasco. And I was like, and it hit me. I was like, you never know. Yeah. It's a simple thing as a mailbox, but then it could cause so many other problems, right?
I literally say all the time that everyone is fighting a battle that you know nothing about. And I think it's true. That's a perfect example of that.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what you're going through. I guess the whole point of this conversation is like, I need to articulate. I needed to like actually like speak it, because I'm like, it's not the end of the world, but it's still like not good. It's not the kind of person I would want to be. It's not the kind of neighbor.
I would still like bake him a plate of cookies or do something. Just leave it at the doorstep with a little note.
I think that's what I would
still do something.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go buy him a cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the way home today. Because I was like, how do I make this up? But it makes me go, I want to be that kind of man when I get older. Right? He was like, he dropped this knowledge on me, and he just made me feel, I was like, I have so far to go. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now I'm slightly traumatized to ever go golfing.
Or just don't go golfing with me.
That's a lot of terrible things to follow you as you go golfing. Are you guys ever when you were starting to tell me the story about you going golfing and the tree falling and all this stuff, in my mind, I was like, there's nothing bad enough that you can tell me that I won't tell you that you should continue golfing and give it a shot. But after the cart incident with your wife, now I'm actually like, maybe you guys should find a new hobby.
Yeah, I mean,
have you thought of tennis?
She doesn't like tennis.
Oh.
But there is this. I took a pickleball class.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's a lot of fun. But I don't know if she's going to be in it. She really likes golf.
She didn't need surgery. She's okay.
No, she doesn't. Well, we don't know. We don't know because it's broken. So if it doesn't heal properly,
is it a clean break or is it cracked?
It's cracked.
Okay,
that's worse. So. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of sad. Sorry, guys, if this is sad.
It's not sad. It's not sad.
No?
But, I mean, the whole point of me bringing all this up is that
everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about.
Yeah.
It literally costs nothing to be nice to people.
Yeah, and and every day you can like be better.
Yeah,
And sometimes like a mailbox is gonna like teach you like you're not even half the man that you think you are.
Mm-hmm. Do you meditate?
The running is the meditation.
Okay.
How about you?
The gym is my meditation for me.
Well, what is meditation for you? Like, what are you thinking about when you're meditating?
Well, the idea is you're not thinking, right? And it's teaching you how to live in the present moment, so you're not being so bombarded by your thoughts and your emotions and everything coming in from a bunch of different directions. It just recenters yourself and brings you back to the present moment. And I'm sure it sounds a little like, oh, meditation, it's like yoga, but it does help to ground yourself. Especially when, instances where you can't control your mind when something bad happens.
That's why I think the running is like my sense of, or my source of meditation, or my version of it. Especially lately, it's like I think lately, like just there's some like people in my life like on a professional level that are like moving on and stuff, and it's like all this anxiety and like insecurities come out. Like, it's like you wake up and you feel like there's like this hopeless feeling, right? And because there are things that I can't control.
Right.
And no matter what I do, it's not going to change anything in that circumstance, right? We're talking about we actually have the same agent.
Do we just say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a guy named Frank, and he's leaving the business to like go on to bigger and better things, right?
To start his own thing, which I think being your own, business owner is an incredible thing and something that not everyone gets to do in a lifetime.
Yeah. But, Frank is, a dear friend. And, it's without him, it's like, him leaving just like it triggered like this anxiety. And I had to really kind of step back and go, where's all this coming from? And it's like, again, it's like, I'm not, invincible or, immune to fear and insecurity about the future, right? So I think that's where the meditation and the running, like you brought up, is like to echo that, is that, with the running, I can control it. And it's like, focus on, the negative stuff, right? And do nothing, right? And just kind of sit there and mope and be sad and stress and just like, get consumed by it, or go and do something positive, something healthy that's going to actually, make me better.
Right. And
it's always like so interesting because it's, like today I ran, 5 miles, right? And
Jesus.
Right. It's not that impressive actually at the end of the day. Have you tried it?
Yes.
Like really tried it?
Yes.
What's that mean?
I don't enjoy it. I don't get this runner's high. I don't. Running's not for me.
I don't enjoy it.
You just suffer through it.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor to life because let's use 5 miles, right? And I think I spoke on this before with Magnus because Magnus was a runner. It's like I use running as like a daily lesson. It's like the meditation, right? It's like
discipline.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, let's say 5 miles takes me like, 46 minutes, or if you're taking the first half really slowly, like 50-minute run for, so like let's say you average like 10 minutes a mile, right? The first mile, just like everything else in life, is like so hard to lace up and get there and to start doing it, right? And half a mile, I want to quit. Like I always at the half mile is like, I just want to quit. Like it's so strong, like severe. And then let's say we parallel with like acting or writing a script or developing a movie or doing a project for yourself, right? So hard, right? And you go, great idea. And then it's like, you start it and like kind of halfway into it, you're like, I want to quit, right? And you get to the mile and you're like, ooh, I did a mile. And maybe that's enough, right? But you're like, but my goal is 5 miles. So I'm at a mile.
Do you walk at all?
During the run?
Yeah.
No, I don't even stretch. I just go. Like there's no stretching. The stretching is like the slow jogging, right? And then I try to run uphill for the first 3 miles because downhill is where you're going to hurt yourself with the shin splints and stuff. Like uphill is hard and you're able to, and I talk to myself and I'm like, Sung, you're such a loser. Like, why'd you do that? What'd you do with the mailbox?
That's such a David Goggins thing to do.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he talk to himself?
He says the worst things to himself to motivate himself.
Yeah. Well, and it's all, I'm venting it out. I'm like, you stupid piece of crap. Like, why'd you do that? Like,
this doesn't sound healthy, Sung. Nothing that you're telling me right now sounds healthy.
Why? Well, you got to get it out. You got to get it out.
I mean, whatever works for you, I guess.
Yeah, you got to get it out.
Yeah.
I'm being honest with myself.
I guess.
Right? You're like, you could have done better. Like, why'd you do that? Why'd you take that shortcut?
But you also tell yourself it's okay. I try to talk to myself like I would talk to 4-year-old me or 5-year-old me. I would never say stuff like that to a kid.
This is the first part. Just remember, it's like,
okay,
it's a 3-act structure. Yeah, it's a 3-act structure. It's 3 parts.
Okay.
The beginning, right? It's like, you got to keep going, man. Don't be a loser. Come on. You're a loser. Like, come on. You got to run. You got to do it. Get to the first mile. Get there. You're like, see, you made the first mile, right? It's like, but I want to quit. It's like 2 versions of me. There's this like loser version of me, right? And then there's like the varsity, like team captain version of me. And they start talking to themselves, right? In a healthy way. It's like, I ran yesterday. I did 6-7 miles yesterday. Like, why do I need to do that? Let's take a break. Then the varsity is like, come on, loser. Like, so what are you going to do? Go home and just like sit around and mope around and be like, and be depressed and feel sorry for yourself? Like, come on, do another mile. Let's do another mile and see how you feel. During that second mile, it's so hard, Emelia, right? You're just like,
you don't need to tell me.
It's so hard, right? And your body's not really warmed up yet. So things are starting to creak and you're like, oh, my knees kind of clicking and my back doesn't feel like it. Your body's like trying to prevent you from moving on, right?
Okay.
Just like in life, right? It's like everything that we do, it's like there's some entity that's like, hey, the weather's bad, so you can't do that. You can't do that. It's like, oh, you don't know so-and-so, so you can't do that. It's like, hey, I need an agent. It's like, well, who do you know? It's like, I want to do movies. You're not in the union. Well, how do you do that? All these things that like will try to prevent you, right? Mm-hmm. Then you get to the second mile, you're like, oh, I actually like I'm here. But you're not even halfway done, right? But you want to quit. I want to quit so bad. So bad I want to quit. And it's like the rationalizing going, well, you did too. That's a lot. That's enough, man. Right? It's so strong. It's like intense. Mm-hmm. And the varsity version of me is like, yo, dude, that's JV kind of running. Like the goal is 5 miles. Just keep going. And 2.5, you're like halfway there. Right? But then the desire to quit is even stronger at that moment. Just like everything in life. You're like, I made it halfway. You did it. You know, you did it more than anybody else. I think that's enough. But then then I sit there and I go, well, your goal is 5 miles. Keep going, keep going. It's so hard. Mm-hmm. 3 miles hits and you're like, okay, 3 miles. And now I can quit. Right? And then what I do is I start increasing the speed. I go like 30% faster. Okay. Right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm at 3 miles. If I go super fast and I'm just in pain, I'll forget about it. Right? And then all of a sudden 4 miles shows up. Right? And that 4th mile, you're sitting there, you go, okay, it's a very simple choice there. It's like, I can just start walking now. Like, I'm done. But then if you're done, then what was the whole point of the run? Mm-hmm. Get to the 5 mile, right? And the 5 mile is a full sprint. It's just full sprint, so it goes by really fast. And then as soon as that 5 miles is done, because you have a tracker, or you have a watch, or iWatch, mm-hmm. or if you're on a treadmill, so you can see it, right? And you look at that 5 mile thing, all of a sudden everything feels like it's going to be okay. Mm. If I don't do that run, like all day, I'm this like neurotic mess. Like
that's how I feel about the gym. If I don't hit the gym, if I don't get a good solid workout in, that's how I feel. Like cloudy, not clear-minded.